Does Zion have another leap he can take as a Pelican? We got Rashad Milligan from NOLA.com coming on here later on. We got some clips to run through. You name it, man. Sunday show live. Anything could happen. Come right at you.
First took away. Gas for this. Get your money's worth now.
Welcome to another episode of Pro Plus Talk here. I am your host, Chris Connor here. We got Justin in the building. We got Chaz with the merch. Fire Trey Murphy shirt there. Shout out to all the good people that support us here, though. Blue Moon, John Deere, Sunshine, Chris Smith Holmes. We got Taz, we got Theos, and as always, we got Scott Vicknair Injury Attorneys here. 504-500-1111. Fellas, we are live. Now, before we get into Zion, everybody here, man, we got about 31 people in here. Listen, if you hit the like button now, you don't have to do it later on. Just join the show, hit the like button. You don't have to hit nothing else from us. But, fellas, how you doing?
Good, man. How's everyone doing?
Oh, man. Just living the dream, brother. Living the dream. So feeling optimistic.
Feeling optimistic. See, man, let me tell you, when Chaz be setting me up, he be setting me up. We're gonna talk a little optimism here to start. ESPN was a little bit optimistic. Had some comments, a segment about the Pelicans and about Zion Williamson last week. We're gonna get into it here. Here's a clip from Mark Spears and Kendrick Perkins talking about Zion, and a little bit of Joe Dumars heading into a very pivotal season.
I talked to his agent, the great Duffy, and he told me that Zion is on the right path, and he's on Zion heels like a pair of church socks to make sure that he goes in the right direction and do what he needs to do to be available and play high-level basketball. I'm all in with the Pelicans.
You know who else is on Zion heels? Joe Dumars. It's not every day in Summer League that you see a GM sitting next to a star player during an entire game. And from what I'm hearing from Joe, he's been really, really impressed with Zion. When Zion plays, and I know people are going to say that when he plays, they win. They're a problem when he plays. Trey is a problem from outside. Irv is one of the best defenders in the league. DeJounte Murray, when he comes back, the Pelicans will be a problem, and I think 26 is really disrespectful.
Why are you shaking your head, Chaz?
No comment. We can go ahead.
I was wondering what Mark Spears said about the DeJounte Murray thing. Still so weird to me. Like, I know he's working his way back, but like, I'm not penciling DeJounte Murray to come back anytime soon from an Achilles and like impact this team. But I mean, it's year 7. It's the same story again. It's year 7.
Year 7.
I'm sorry. Well, to start with the positive, I think that shout out to Kendrick Perkins, a fan of the legendary Spaces. Shout out to Chris for putting that together. I don't think what Perkins said was surprising, considering Zion did change his agency recently, and essentially he had trouble with his prior agency since the beginning. How much of that was self-inflicted, who knows? But maybe he didn't make himself available or avail himself to some of the opportunities that these agencies provide to, work with you during the offseason. Because it seems like all he really does in the offseason is, do some cardio, hit the weights, and do the Jordan events. So I don't know how much his agency really, worked with him during the offseason. So to hear that Duffy is working with him, who's also Luka's agent, if I'm not mistaken, to hear that he's working with both of his guys to try to get them on the right track health-wise. Shout out to Black Preacher, man, new member. We appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
To hear that he's working with those guys, that's great to hear. The Mark Spears thing, it was kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. It's like, it just seems so vanilla. If that makes sense. It just seems so vanilla. You don't know Herb Jones's name. You don't really know the it just seems,
we call him Herb.
Yeah, you call him Herb. Then on top of that, you don't really know you don't know that Joe Dumars isn't the GM. Also, when you initially reported the Troy Weaver hire, he announced Troy Weaver as the GM, even though the Pelicans currently, maybe that was some foreshadowing based on what he heard, but ESPN had to go back and revise that article. It was like, no, Troy Weaver's not the GM, Mark Spears. So it just, man, we got to stop giving people like these alley oops because they got some type of connection to the city. Like, can we just, you know, base some shit on merits at some point?
The one thing I wish, like, so he says he's impressed with Zion. Like, I wish like there was more elaborate a little bit more. Like, what are you impressed about? Like, what have you changed in the offseason? Like with Luka, you see it. With Zion, like, I mean, we've heard a couple things, but at the end of the day, like, I'd still like this seems like a regular, normal offseason from Zion Williamson, in my opinion. So, like, I wonder like what he meant by he's impressed with Zion. Like, what do you? I guess, Chris, like, what do you think like he means by that?
Well, I mean, I think the bar is low, in all honesty, unfortunately, when it comes to Zion and when it comes to the Pelicans. So, like, just hearing that he's healthy and he's in like solid shape or redeemable shape, it like that goes a long way from where typically how these off seasons go. He got his offseason drama out of the way a little earlier. I believe they were still playoff basketball during the time we were talking about some of the things he was dealing with off the court. So, yeah, I mean, I think just the fact that he's healthy, maybe, you know, it seemed we've heard early consistently about Joe Dumars and Zion building a relationship and how important that's going to be. And I think a lot of people are kind of pushing their chips towards that mentorship, that relationship being the thing that changes and turns everything around for Zion and maybe the franchise.
I still want to see him playing basketball in the offseason. I don't know why. I see everyone else doing it. Like, if I want to see an actual change, like, I know Chaz, like you said that, like, I think you said last.
No, my thing is like you really don't see everyone else doing it though. That's the thing. It's like,
that's fair. I mean, or Luka just working
AI
out
pictures. Like, I don't know.
You don't. I mean, you don't put too much stock into it, Chaz.
No, because it's like to me, it's like to what end, right? It's again, if you're good, I really don't care what you do in the off season.
Right.
If you suck, then I want to see you, playing basketball and working on things. I'm not one of those people that feel like Zion needs to be in the offseason working on his jumper or nothing like that. I just think you need to stay on the court. If you stay on the court, everything else kind of takes care of itself. As long as you're not fat in the offseason, I think that's good. Last time I saw him, he wasn't fat. Yeah, so I'm presuming he's doing the right thing. And he ain't played basketball since what? Maybe it might have been like March or whenever that Timberwolves game. So I just think it's a narrative that kind of is getting a little dated at this point.
And Chaz, to your point, and I didn't, it's a good point in regards to the video. I just think with Zion, people are so worried about his commitment and what he's not doing that they just want some kind of video just to say, oh, he's working on his game, he's doing, and he's holding a basketball. Does that mean he's practicing? Yeah. No, Zion did a shooting motion sitting down. Yo. Is he itching back to the court? Like, I think with Zion, like, the problem is that I do think it all goes back to availability more than it does. 100%, yeah. Because Jokic be back in his old country with his shirt off in bad shape, gambling, horses, right? Doing his thing, dancing horribly to shout out to that country. I don't know what that music is, but he be getting it. He be clubbing every night out there. Nobody says anything.
The Euro beats. But why, Chris?
Because he's able to stay on the floor and he's one of the best basketball players. You know what I mean? Like that's what comes with it. Luka. But same thing. Luka, we see him looking all kind of crazy throughout. This the first off season. The first off season, Luka looks like, okay, I give a damn, and we don't know if that's going to continue. But when you're able to stay on the floor and you're MVP candidate every year, nobody fucking cares.
And that's my thing. That's
Go
my thing.
ahead.
No, Chaz, go. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say like off the top of my head, because I've been guilty of this myself. There's about 4 instances of Zion with some visual proof or like witnesses of him working out in the offseason. Or really 5 if I count the Will Guillory article from last year. There was Zion coming back from the foot injury when he put the dent in the floor. That went bad. There was Zion hanging out at the park with the kids.
Yep.
That went bad. There was Zion, and that's something I personally criticize. Like, duh, you don't know no adults. Like, then on the third one, there was Zion doing the wind sprints at the Saints facility. That went bad. Then it was like, it really ain't too. It's one of those things where it's like, look, bro. Sometimes no news is good news. Like it no visual. Like when he just popped up at the kids thing that one time when we thought Zion was on that shit at the charity thing, and he looked like real malnourished. Like, damn, Zion got to be like 210 right now. Yeah. It was good optics when you see him pop up with Joe Dumars, and because there was some rumors behind the scenes going around. That's why I take so much behind the scenes shit with a grain of salt at this point. Like, I don't care who tells me at this point. Because all the rumors I was hearing was like, oh, man, Zion fat again, bro. Zion is fat again. I'm like, I don't know. My fat and Zion fat are a little different. But then like, you see dude at the game with Joe Dumars, you're like, man, 3 days later, this dude, he don't appear to be out of shape whatsoever. So it's just...
I saw him
one of those things.
I saw him at the UFC fight. I mean, like, I hate talking about this kind of stuff, but like he looks like he's in shape, I guess you could say. But my biggest thing about this whole like video thing, Chaz, like I agree with you. Like it doesn't mean shit. Like you're completely right. But as a fan, you just want hope. And this fan base, to be honest with you, it is so low right now. It is like the lowest ever since we've started this. It's by far the lowest hopeful fan base since Zion's been here. But I do know, like, you look at Laker fans now, and like they're all it means nothing again, but they're all freaking out about Luka, so on and so forth. I think if Zion were to do that or something, post something, I think you get the fan base a little more hope. That's all I'm trying to.
And speaking of hope, again, 8:30, so in about 12 minutes, we're gonna have NOLA.com's Rashad Milligan on to talk about a couple of articles that he's put together recently, doing a pretty good job right now between some articles about hope and about the fans in the city. Shouted us out a couple of times. Then another article that I don't even know if he's going to want to talk about, but we'll see in regards to some interesting allegations about the Pelicans. But I had to check. I'm like, oh, he wrote that too. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. But 75 people here right now. I think we have 45 likes. The ratio ain't that bad. Typically by now, y'all give us like 12 likes. All right. So closing out here or early on Zion. Do you guys believe that he has another leap in general? I don't know if it's necessarily skill set. I don't know if it's availability. Do you think those pockets of MVP caliber Zion that we see pretty much every year for about 10 to 20 games, do you think it's sustainable for 30, 40, 50? And if it is, what does that look like? Because if he is able to sustain that level of play that we've seen him, instead of it being short bursts, no pun intended, Zion, instead of it being 10 games, 20 games, if it's a longer period and he's able to give you a decent amount of games, we're probably talking about somebody that will be in some MVP conversations because the Pelicans win more games than they lose when he's on the floor. We just don't see Zion be Zion for consistently long periods because an injury is always around the corner, some kind of other issue. What do you guys think? Is there another leap here as a Pelican that maybe we could see this year? Chaz, I'll start with you.
I think when Zion plays consistently, he just tends to be on the incline as a player generally. As far as MVP candidacy, I don't think it's possible because that is not the person you're going to make the face of the league. Like, or like, that's not the person. Like, if you look at the last, I don't want to go there, but you look at the last 4 or 5 MVP candidates, it's been Joel Embiid, Giannis, Jokic twice, Shea. there's a pattern emerging. I don't want to get, I don't want to put on my kufi here, but there's a pattern emerging. So that being the case, I don't think you're going to see I don't think you're going to see no American MVPs for as long as they can help it. And I damn sure don't think you're going to see Zion as no MVP. Zion can average 5. Zion, he might win the scoring title, but he still won't. He just won't be the MVP. That's not a person you put as the face of a league, in my opinion.
With the scoring title though, Chaz, like what the one thing that like I guess bothered me about Zion is that he doesn't get enough shots. Like and like I don't, obviously he had Brandon and all that stuff, but like will he take? That's my question: is he going to take that leap in field goal attempts? Right, like. So I thought they caught, they did something nice with Zion, later in the year where they were like giving him 28 to 30 minutes a night, right? And you also saw how efficient he was. I think that last month he averaged 25 points per game, shot 60% from the field, averaged 6 rebounds and 6 assists. And so like they were about the 32 minute range. Now I have to ask this to y'all. If they play him 30 to 32 minutes for the first 20 to 25 games, do you think the Pelicans can win those games with him playing that amount of minutes? You do? You think he can be that good?
But see, here's the thing. Here's what's interesting about I'm glad you brought that up, Justin. What was so interesting about Zion last year is that in those 30 games that he played, you said 28 minutes, right? He hit all of his career averages.
He did, yeah.
But playing 3 to 4 minutes less per game than he typically does. So if we're talking about something like if he plays 30, 31 minutes, 32 minutes, well, now we're talking about a couple more rebounds, right? So I mean, what that how many rebounds did he have his last year? 7. Okay, he was at 7. Maybe
career high, right? Gotta be
tied. Yeah, so maybe that's 7. That 7 rebounds.
7.2,
yeah. I mean, those assists. I think Zion has. As a Pelican, I think he has a 25, 7, and 6 like stat line. Yeah, peak. I think, and that might not be the peak, Chaz, to be honest. That ultimately may not be the peak. It may be something beyond that, but I think a 25, 7, and 6, like it's there. Now, in today's NBA, that may not be enough to win MVP with guys scoring 30 a game and 39 and dudes averaging almost a triple-double. But that's enough to
with that.
But it will impact winning because Zion's 25 ain't like Halliburton scoring 25. It's not like Ant scoring 25. It's a running game. It's a power game that by the fourth quarter, dude's getting the hell up out the way. But it's can Zion make it to that period? Game 50 and still be himself. That's what we got to see.
Yeah, and during that stretch, he was averaging 17 shots a night, and then getting the free throw line 7.5 times a night as well. But like, I would like to see Zion. I think Chaz, you'll agree with me on this. Like, I want to see Zion in the 20s, 20 to 22 field goal attempts a night because Trey Murphy, you don't.
Nah, I don't want to see that.
You don't want 20 shots a night?
No, because again, I'm just choosing to live in the real world with this as far as like, look, I've seen you overexert yourself. I don't want to see him play 35 minutes, honestly. I want him to do whatever it takes. Some people like I say, let's just use a football analogy. Chris brought up running. Some guys, Reggie Bush only need about 15, 20 carries and a couple catches. You're not gonna run Reggie Bush 30, 40 times. That's just not who, no matter what he thinks he is, that's just never who he was made to be. Zion's a dude, he needs to come in the game, 32 minutes. 18, 19, attempts, get to the free throw line, do his thing, and go sit the fuck down. I say that because because a lot of this is dependent upon how you feel about the rest of the roster. And that lone season, that 49-win season, when you had Brandon, et cetera, CJ, all these guys, et cetera, I would argue that you have a better roster today. So if you feel like you have a better roster today, then the shot diet is kind of going to change for a couple of guys. And you could argue there's a better fit today. So, and, if the rumor was Zion played like shit up until a certain point, then to me, it's like, well, he played well last year in limited minutes. If you feel like he can still do that again in limited minutes, but it will grant you more games and more availabilities where back-to-backs aren't just, X'd off the list automatically, 3 games and 4 nights, etc. I mean, you're going to be smart about it, but to me, it's less about the attempts and the minutes. It's more about what keeps him available for the majority, the lion's share of the games. Because if he, like in that Lakers game, I don't know how many minutes he played, but
it had to be close to
Close to 40.
Yeah. So let's say he played
Had
40
to.
minutes, right? Say he played 40 minutes. So it's like a point per minute, whatever, right? So fuck it. Like if everybody else isn't terrible, he probably don't got to play 40 minutes. So let's keep it, 32, 35. Just keep doing what you're doing, but just stay on the court. Because I don't really see an avenue to where it's like, yo, if he do this, it's going to take his game to the next level. It's like, yeah, in an ideal world. But at this point, I kind of know who he is. He's going on his third contract. Like, I don't think he's going to be doing a lot of different things. So I think all the focus really has to shift to him staying on the court and making the most of those 16, 18 shot attempts he's going to get tonight.
So Chaz, I want to hear your thoughts on this then, because you talked about other players, right? So Trey Murphy averaged about 15.7 field goal attempts last year. If you want Zion to be in that 17 to 20, right? Or just say 17 to 19.
Yeah, 17, 19, yeah.
Would you want more looks for Trey, or do you think that 15 field goal attempts a night should stay for Trey?
I think he's absolutely going to have to take more shots a night for multiple reasons. I think the way he shoots, the way he scores is so different from the way Zion scores. Is going to, he's going to have more available attempts. Yeah, he puts the ball on the floor, he gets to the line, etc. But Trey could have about 9 attempts a night from beyond the arc. Right. Then you consider some of the other attempts. He's not going to drive to the rim 2 times a game. Probably going to do it about 3 or 4 times. Then you got, floaters, you got buckets in transition. I think a guy like him is going to average closer to 20 attempts a game. I think Zion's going to average probably the 3rd most attempts a game from the big three.
You think Poole second?
Yeah, just from based on how those guys score. Like Zion ain't about to pull up from the logo shooting threes twice a game. Like Poole and Trey are gonna do that.
Well, I was actually kind of shocked by this. I was just looking up Jordan Poole's field goal attempts. How many field goal attempts do you think he averaged a night in Washington? I was kind of surprised by the number.
Well, he kind of played some limited minutes, maybe like 17, 18.
I guess it's 15 and a half.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I guess limited minutes.
Then you had Kuzma there. You had they was trying to lose.
Yeah.
So,
What? So outside of minutes, what do you guys think is important, as we got a couple of minutes here before we get Rashad up? What do you guys think is going to be most important in getting Zion to game 60, getting Zion, get to game 50? I think the 70 games shocked everybody from a couple of years ago, but this isn't the same team. So more than likely, even with the talent that you added, it's still going, like Zion may have more responsibility than ever when it comes to usage. And then typically when the usage raises, that's when the injuries come for him. Like that's when we've seen him. Every time he's had an injury, outside of when he tore his meniscus in his first season, it's been stretches of 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Like he's like an SUV with like a Corvette engine. So how, if you guys were in charge, I'm not just talking the medical team, aspect. I'm not talking about even the front office or the analytics team. If you were coaching, what do you guys think is the way to manage his minutes and manage him to get him to? They got to have a magic number right now. Like if there has to be a number. They say if we get him to this amount of games, we're gonna be fine.
That's always tough to answer, right? Like I'm not a fan of the start. I think Jared's alluded to this a bunch, but I'm not a fan of the starts. First 4 minutes he goes up there, plays, and he sits for 8 minutes and starts the second quarter, so on and so forth. Like he's got to play continuous, right, minutes. So like I would try to look at, all right, if we're gonna sub him out in the first 4.5, 5 minutes, he needs to play the last 2 minutes of every quarter to where he gets that break, and then he's going into the next quarter where his body's a little warmed up, obviously staying on the bike. But like that's all I can really think of. I mean, I'd like to gradually throughout the year get him more minutes, but at the end of the day, like I think y'all are completely right. Like I want to see him play 60, 70 games. Like he's got to play 28 to 32 minutes a night. It is what it is. Like, we've tried the other way, unless, I think Chaz understand Van Gundy played the most games, right? And he was at like the heaviest he was, I'm pretty sure, right?
It was a shorter season too, but yeah.
Like those are the only two like options you really have, are these short bursts where you're playing 28, 32 minutes a night, or just fucking just let him be and play. Like that's all. Like, I mean, he's obviously got to do pregame, postgame, work and everything like that. So I mean, that's all you can really hope for.
I think a lot of it is his if you see, Zion had a reputation for doing everything right and still getting hurt, I would probably be a little more like, but I'm not going to presume he's going to do everything right. I'm going to presume that he's going to do just enough to like keep it professional and keep things cordial. But let's just say he is doing things at an acceptable level. I think a lot of it's going to be his band work, his pre and post game, finishing cold after games, after practice, and his physical preparation. Because sometimes your body betrays you, man. Like it just is what it is, especially as you get older. So I think for me, I think they found a good system last year for the minutes distribution. I don't like how. See, if I know he's playing 32 minutes, maybe that changes the minutes distribution. Because prior, again, I thought Willie Green had too many. He had a bevy of options, which I think was bad for someone as like him. Because I can sit Zion down and I'll put Trey in the game and run Trey and Brandon, and it's like, no, bro, like the dude he's 6 of 6. Keep him on the floor and see. Let's see how this goes. He's 6 of 6. In the first few minutes. Let's see where this goes. But I'm so
glad you said that.
So I think now that he has less options, specifically on ball options, I think you'll probably see those minutes stretch out a little bit. Maybe instead of first 4 minutes, maybe it's the first 6 minutes. Yeah. And then he comes out and starts the second quarter, et cetera, et cetera.
Like, maybe don't make him the first sub every time, but like Chaz, that's also a really good point. Like, if he's on a heater, definitely don't take him out. Like, let him roll until because that just pisses him off even more.
All right. Yeah, we about to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we got Rashad Milligan here from NOLA.com, man, here to talk about some of his recent work. His thoughts on the Pelicans. Y'all be sure to be interactive, man. It should be a good time. Quick word from Company Burger, and we'll be right back.
Company Burger is the official burger of Pro Pels Talk and Boot Crew Media. Located at 4600 Ferret Street, Company Burger has been locally owned and operated for 11 years. Grind the meat, bake the buns, make the mayo, get the homemade tots. Company Burger uses Creekstone Farms prime beef to create the best burger in the city with milkshakes to go and a full bar. Company Burger is open every day besides Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Can't make it out? No worries, we have you covered. You can order online right now at thecompanyburger.com or check them out on the Toast or Uber Eats app. Company Burger, the official burger of Boot Crew Media.
That was the good people here at Company Burger, man. Y'all be sure to pull up, man. Get the tots here. Justin's favorite. Joining the show, 504 boy, man. Appreciate it. Gifted one Boo Crew Media membership. Maybe Cole gets that one, but we know he won't. Joining the show here, man. We got Rashad Milligan, man. First of all, brother, thank you for joining, man. How you doing?
What's up, fellas? How y'all feeling, man?
How you doing, man? Doing well.
How you doing?
And thanks
we all right. We all right. No, appreciate you pulling up, man. So I'm gonna start here. I will let this video kind of speak for itself, and then you can kind of get into your article that you wrote a couple of weeks ago, shouting us out about the Bill Simmons comments, and then I'll let the fellas or the chat kind of run things from there. But here was Kendrick Perkins once again talking a little bit about his thoughts on relocation and the fans in the city. We kind of have a history with Perk, but a stand-up brother for joining the spaces a few years ago, make it quite the moment in the midst of a season that kind of turned everything around. But since then, his tune has changed. But here was Kendrick Perkins.
And then we come back to this point of, the Pelicans, if it's an expansion, then the Pelicans might move to Vegas. Listen, let me say this. I barked up that tree before, and it was a mistake on my part, right? I said that the Pelicans, they need to just sell the franchise and relocate and do all this. And damn it, the fan base got on my heels like a pair of church socks. And I thought about it, I was wrong. The fan base down there is actually pretty damn good. They just waiting on the Pelicans to do something, right?
Speaking of waiting, we are still waiting on a donation. I don't know if that will ever arrive from Perk, but we'll different conversation. So, Rashad, you wrote an article. Speaking of what Perk was mentioning, shout out a show that we did. Shout out to Five who went on an amazing. I wouldn't even call it a rant, but about a 5-minute talking point about the viewership, the basketball love in the city, the people that watch the games, the people that are thirsty just for a good product versus them not wanting to support basketball. Can you go into why you wrote the article and your overall thoughts, whether it be about Perk or Ben Simmons, or just what you think the post is on the people in the city when it comes to basketball and the New Orleans Pelicans?
No, for sure. So I think the first thing is I got the job at NOLA.com in last October, and I moved here in January. And like one of the things, it's so funny seeing like my outside view of the Pels and New Orleans and stuff like that, and then living here. It's like it was two completely different things. Like I tell everybody, like moving here really radicalized my mindset about Zion Williamson. Like it was one thing I thought, and then there was a whole nother thing when I got here. I was like, oh man, like, it's crazy. It's certain things that you don't see on a national level until you come here and watch the games night to night basis. So that's the first thing. Another thing I saw this at was like with Chris Paul. Like the Chris Paul press conference with the Clippers, and he had the kids and the cheerleaders, and everybody's like, this is so beautiful. He's coming back home. And I'm like, New Orleans is really disrespected. Like people are really like, just like New Orleans doesn't exist. It's just invisible on the Nationals. And I'm like, this is so crazy. The fan base here, they're extremely passionate about the Pels and basketball here just in general. And Zion's like a huge talking point. Like he's up there with the Saints in terms of like things that people around the area love to talk about. So that was one of the things why I like wrote the story. I saw that it was popping. It was kind of like the most popping topic around Pels kind of fan base and stuff like that. And other people were writing about it. So I sent it to my sports editor. I was like, should we do something with this? Because I feel like what Bill Simmons says, it like teeters the line of just conspiracy theory to like, oh, that's kind of too out there. I don't even want to give that energy or attention or time, but it's August now, what else is there to talk about? And I feel like that's the thing that Simmons is dealing with. When you have 100 days of the offseason and you record twice a week or 3 times a week, like you just start making up stuff after a while. And I think that's what Bill Simmons did. And like I said, once again, the national media, they look at New Orleans as a market that's just an easy punching bag when it comes to basketball. And I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Chris or who, but y'all don't put the fear of God in some of these folks' heart, boy. These last couple of years. And these folks, man, I seen Perk said, I love Louisiana. I can fish there. And then, I'm like, dang, Perk, who talked to Perk? Like, so, I mean, to me, it was just, I don't know. I think you guys are showing the people that you guys care. It's more so a frustration with the actual organization. And I don't know. I don't know how they're going to fix it, but it's looking like, they're making the steps. Because when DeJounte goes on the pod, what I'm saying, and he calls out, man, we don't even have this or that. Another thing I noticed, a lot of people ain't saying this. Now, since I'm on a pod and everything like that, I want to get it all now. When Trey Murphy was on 520, Jeff Teague's podcast, what was he talking about? Teague was like, yeah, man, what was the first thing you noticed with the thing? He said, with my NBA money, I love the fact that I had Gatorade. We could get Gatorade whenever we wanted. And he said, y'all got that? And Trey was like, nah, we ain't got that. And then, I go back to think about what DeJounte was saying on the pod. He was like, this is the first organization I've been where we ain't have this or all at the same time. And I was like, dang, man, like these folks is calling out the organization publicly in these spaces and everything like that. And I feel like after getting called out, they're like, all right, y'all can't keep playing with our name like that publicly. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to tighten this up. Dumars said he's going to fix up some things. So we'll see what happens if they actually switch it up. I don't know. Y'all would know better than me of like have they said this in the past of like, hey guys, we're gonna do better, and they never actually do better. So yeah, that's what I want to know from y'all. But that's what I see from national media to what's going on now.
Go ahead, fellas.
Chaz, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, brother? Firstly, where'd you move from? I'm curious.
Georgia.
Okay, shout out to Georgia, man. Shout out to Georgia. Yeah, look, I think the national media isn't totally off base, like not totally off base, but I think in context, some of the players, saying straight, I guess there only leaves one other player. So I think I think DeJounte was doing a lot of capping. I think DeJounte, he's just a bitter guy. If you do the knowledge, I'm sure you have. He's tend to have sour grapes in both of his previous stops. So
I was covering him the last team.
Oh, see, hey, Perk, you would know. He's tend to have some sour grapes, and and every team he's been on at this point. No disrespect to him, shout out to him. But I think just given some of the context with things we've heard behind the scenes. I think some of the DeJounte's complaints probably should be taken with a grain of salt. Now, for the organization itself, organization has a lot of things they can improve upon. I think that when you hear people say sell the team, I don't think no one would disagree with that necessarily. It's the relocate part that kind of gets people up in arms because, I mean, honestly, if they were going to be an expansion, they would just add a team to Seattle, they would add a team to Vegas, and they would move the Pelicans to the East, most likely. So it's not even like a realistic scenario that one would have to consider. But I do think, to say that they shouldn't sell or consider selling the team, period, would be a little disingenuous. But it's the move the team part that I think really has people up in arms. For us, the Trey Murphy thing, that's a good reference you made with Teague in the Gatorade thing. I don't know. Maybe they got I don't know. Like stuff like that. I'm like, I don't really know. But I do remember, was it last season that they had the Pelicans practicing in a facility with no drywall. They had a big curtain up. And
I was there, Chaz. Well,
yeah,
I was there for a little bit. I didn't get to finish.
Construction, I'm sure that's not passing any type of OSHA laws or anything whatsoever, but they still had them doing it. So there's a lot of things this organization can improve on, honestly.
Rashad, thanks for joining. But a question for you, since you covered obviously the Hawks, what would you say? Like, I know you've only been in New Orleans for a little bit, but like, what would you say is like the biggest difference between organizations? I guess whether it be from a media standpoint or just a basketball standpoint in general.
I say the media. Oh, first of all, I want to answer Cole's question because Cole been on my head in the chat. All right. So as you guys know, when y'all ask where I'm from, I said Georgia. Right. I am from Atlanta. I am from Atlanta. Hey, I come in peace. I am from Atlanta. But as a journalist, I had to drop the fandom hat and just become a professional. So I come in peace. Okay, all right. Chat done turned against me. It is what it is. All right. Let's talk. Okay, so I say the difference is in Atlanta, like it's a little more media, like it's a lot of independent media and everything like that. And but it's just a lot of folks. It's like a larger media room in Atlanta versus like what's kind of going on over here. I'm trying to think what else.
Like, how would you describe? Like, how would you describe what's going on? Like, when you say what's going on here, like, what do you mean? Like, they have like a bigger media room. Like, is everything just bigger in Atlanta? Like, whether it be, that was crazy to say, but I'm just saying, like, media wise, like coverage wise, like all that kind of stuff. Is it just more people?
I wouldn't say that because Zion's probably bigger than. Him and Trey are probably neck and neck. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of like national coverage that they get, national attention that they get. So I wouldn't say that the Hawks get more attention nationally. What's happening? But it's definitely more like local media and stuff like that. I think in Atlanta versus what it is here with the Pels. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think regardless, there is an audience for the Pels here, and there's a lot of parallels to the Pels and the Hawks, to be honest. I know I said a whole lot of nothing. That was a word salad.
Wait. Towards the end, you said there's a lot of parallels between the Hawks and the Pelicans.
Yeah.
I find that interesting. What are they?
I think Trey, he gets disrespected nationally, just like how Zion does. Like, Zion's really good. and he doesn't get that credit. Like, I remember he had a triple-double, and he had 2 triple-doubles when he's never had a triple-double in his career in the span of 2 weeks. And then Shaq was just like, I need him to do it more. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, what are you he's doing this on 25 minutes restriction. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what he's doing is not normal for a dude his size. The way he's passing the ball right now is like, but it's just dumb stuff like that, right? It's the same thing with Trey Young. Like, people were like, Trey's not really. And I'm like, what are you talking? It's like, Trey makes passes that, like, I haven't seen point guards since Steve Nash make. Like, what are we doing here? And it's like, his defense. He's giving more effort defensively. Just say you haven't watched the Hawks since 2021. It's cool. Like, and I think it's the same thing here in New Orleans and stuff like that. Trey Murphy, the fact that he's kind of just non-existent unless you're like a basketball fiend on a national scale. Like, no one is talking about like how good Trey Murphy is as a basketball player outside of like the young man in the 3 crowd. You know, that's like a very specific like basketball nerd type of crowd and everything like that. So I say those are 2 things that are kind of like the parallels there. And the players. There's a lot of the same players that come through both organizations.
Hi, Key. I wanna welcome Follw to the show here. Follw, we spoke a little bit about the article that shouted us out and shouted you out. If you guys didn't get a chance, please go back and read Rashad's comments on his article on Ben Simmons, and go watch the show that Follw spoke in detail from an educational standpoint, but also from a logic and a someone who lives in the city, someone who's from the area, and just where the disconnect is between relocation, as Chaz mentioned earlier, and the product just not living up to what it needs to be. But Follw, the floor is yours. If any questions, any comments you have for Rashad, panel, go ahead.
Nah, man. Shad, what's up, bro? How you feel, man? Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the chat as well. Game, we got Cole, we got Flight Mizard, Kyle. No, I was not held up by a white woman. That's super important to let people know. But nah, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you pulling up. I've been drinking all day. I've had a day of days, not like Vegas days, Justin, but a day today. So I've had a great time. I just wanted to get your assessment on you talked about Zion and Trey and the parallels between the Hawks and the Pelicans. What do you think? And I do think those two players essentially are closely related in how they're viewed by the outside world, not like niche markets like the old men in the 3, right? What do you think Zion needs to do? And I think my dog Justin has been not crying, but wanting I don't want to cry, but wanting a video from Zion like during the summer to let people know like where he is in his development, right? You see the Ja Morants in China, you see Luka Doncic, and in a magazine showing that hey, he's made progress from his days in Dallas. Like, why don't we get that from a Zion? How do you assess Zion in his during his summertime?
Yeah, so Zion is someone who, like, I was covering like back in Atlanta once again, 2018 at McDonald's when he was in high school and stuff like that, and like covering him now, he's the same kid. Like, he's the same kid. Like he does like the hard posterior face every night to make himself look more serious, but you look at him and like just smile, like he start cracking up. He's just a goofy kid still. So I want to point that out first, because I know a lot of people like, what is it going to take for him to mature to be that leader? That I'm like, maybe he's just a goofy kid. Like, some kids are just goofy, bro. Like, Anthony Edwards is goofy. Like, John Morant is kind of goofy a little bit. Like, some kids are just kids. That is what it is. I remember watching that clip from Justin or that part of the episode where he was like, why can't we get workout videos from him in the offseason? Like even though people might say it might not matter, like I care about it. It does make the fans feel better. I think just like the public perception, because it's like, okay, here we go. If Instagram, right, with a woman, if a woman just posts a number, he's not a kid. I hear you, CJ. If a woman just posting a bunch of thirst traps, what they gonna say? Oh, she is so-and-so, she is so-and-so. And you could be like, bro, you don't even know her, this and that, right? That might be true, but the perception of her, what is she always posting? So it's like the same thing with Zion. It's like Zion working, Zion doing this, Zion doing that.
We pod now.
Zion posting? Oh, Zion back on the block in South Carolina. I'm like, dang, I didn't know Zion was a block kid. I thought he was a good kid. Like he always, you know what I mean? But it's just all this stuff. Like, see the Follw though, I ain't gonna lie. The Follw brother always been throwing up the Follw. He was throwing that up in high school. And so I mean that's a whole nother thing. Now the Z, that's a whole thing I ain't never seen before. But I say all this to say perception matters in 2025, whether people wanted to admit it or not. It's something that's like really silly, but perception can turn into narratives, and narratives turn into like on-court play, and on-court play turns into like how much you get paid. So all of those things are just really important. So you have to watch what you post and post, like, because the other day he posted on his Instagram stories nothing but highlights, right? And then people was like, look at his Instagram. This is amazing. And so that was it. It was just like he's just posting his highlights, like, but people care about that stuff.
Shaq, can I ask you this? Because I know you said you covered them at McDonald's. We've covered them at Burger King. So that being said, like in this, I think in this region or even on a national level, I'm one of those people that think at this point, silence is almost the best case. Like it's almost the best path forward for Zion, because it's every time you see him, just like with him, throwing up the Z's, shout out to the Zoes. It's like every time you see him, it's like, damn, this is not looking good. Or even like when he might have a charitable, like a charity event. It's like, oh, Zion, right? He did a dine and dash. It's always bad optics. And I think at this point, his PR team is just like, look, we just need to hide this dude until the season starts. Like, just stay out of, for a number one, for a player as high profile as he was supposed to be. He's one of the lesser visible guys. It's just like every time we see him, it's crazy. It's like you see him in a Mountain Dew commercial, that goes bad. Then you see him in a Starry commercial, like, why you drinking soda? That goes bad. Then you see him in like, it's just like, bro, sometimes you just need to stay out the way. I think he's gotten to a point where he's like, it's better for me to just stay out the way, period. That's just my perception. Do you think, of course it's fair, he's the number one pick, but do you think that he's at a point in his career where anything he does would be received positively from the national media? Because it seems like the national media wants to root for him, but it just seems like that ditch has been dug, like at this point, for his reputation.
It all goes back to performance, man. Like everything's performance, everything is wins. Like the NBA is so kind of bipolar with that stuff. Like going back to like what were you saying with Trey? Like if the Hawks win, like how they won a couple of years ago, everybody's talking about Trey, how they were a couple of years ago. It's the same thing with Zion. LeBron James is LeBron James. He's probably the best athlete, arguably in basketball, in the history of basketball. Just speaking from like his build, being an athlete, everything like that. He has a Sprite commercial. Like he had a Sprite endorsement for the last 25 years. Nobody said anything. He had McDonald's. Nobody said anything about LeBron. LeBron and McDonald's and Sprite. Nobody said that. Why? Because LeBron on the court, he does what LeBron does.
Right.
So it's like it's the same thing with Zion. You win, you produce on the court, everybody shut up. And that's just what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's why like I know I've been talking about like the workout videos and all this other like bullshit, but like at the end of the day, that's not gonna lead to wins. It's just I'd rather just watch them, just play on the court, just play. And Chad's been saying the whole show,
matters,
just play.
though. But it matters.
No, it does, because from what the reason why is, right, like I was talking about this earlier before you joined the show, is it's just as a fan you want to be hopeful. And like we've been covering this team now for a good 5 to 6 years. And I said this earlier, but like this is the lowest I've seen this fan base going into a season with Zion Williamson. And so like I'm just trying to breed in some like a little bit of hope, right? To where like even if I was a rep trying to sell tickets, I would pray for Zion to just post some type of video of him working out or whatever, so that you generate interest in the team. You then sell tickets more. You sell it's just a positive thing when the face of your franchise is posting, workouts. Like everyone loves to see Trey Murphy back in the gym, right? Like Trey Murphy started posting more on social media, like, oh wow, his shoulder surgery must be going well. And then Herb Jones posts, right? And DeJounte Murray keeps posting that, oh well, he's working his way back, right? And so you're hopeful that he gets an earlier return. It's just stuff like that. It's just like it's optics, and it doesn't equate to wins, but at least it's hopeful. At least some positivity on the timeline.
Yeah,
my bad. Real quick, the longer I've been around, kind of covering the league and stuff, the more you see like the narratives that fans have and social media narratives, like actually affects the game. And it sounds crazy, but it does. It like leaks out into the floor, into the actual play of stuff. So yes, it matters if you post it and everything like that. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, it just really revolves around Zion he has a really bad PR team. Like it doesn't make sense. Like he makes the wrong move outside of basketball all the time, no matter what it is. They can't cover it up. They can't do anything. They cannot negate it. I don't even know if he truly has a team, a PR team. Mm-hmm. Like if you think about it, if you just take a step back, like what do they do? What have they stopped? I mean, there's some things that we know about that we probably shouldn't say, but truly, I don't think that's his PR team stopping it. I think that's more so like people just respecting it, like, we probably shouldn't say that. That has nothing to do with someone, in his camp, like reaching out, like, hey, yo, please, can you not say that? It's more so, us being who we are rather than, them doing what they're supposed to do. So I think he truly needs to rethink who he has behind him or who he has in front of him to, better his name.
To Follw's point, I also think, because you've seen him say it a couple times in the post game, like that year he came in, he was real stoic and serious for about 2 months. And it was like, all right, bro, like this is totally contrived. You're a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. You don't got to do this, bro. We know you feel disrespected, but you don't have to do this. And then, he said himself in the post game, like, I know people don't really rock with me. And me, as like a hip-hop person, I've seen it. I've seen it with 50 Cent. I've seen it with Lil Wayne. I've seen it with Drake now. Once people decide that they don't fuck with you like that, even if it's misplaced, if people decide, even for the moment, there was a point where like right now, there's no song Lil Wayne can put out that people are gonna be like, yeah. There's almost nothing Drake can do right now for people gonna be like, yeah, you gotta wait until it's over, until it passes, and then maybe it'll come full circle. But I think what Zion is at right now, he's at that point where he's, again, just like we kind of ran through the checklist before you got on, Shad. One I forgot to mention. I mentioned this on the last episode. So you got the dent in the floor. You got the wind sprints of the Saints facility. You got him working out in this medical kitchen looking thing, doing band work. Shout out to him. He played 70 games that year. So shout out to the kitchen. Right? You got it just always looks bad. It is,
kid photo.
You got him playing at the park with the kids. You got it just I don't know, man. It just always look bad. Like, and I think he might be in his Michael Jackson era where it's just like, look, I don't do interviews no more. I'm just not a public person no more. I'm just in the tuck because it's just even shout out to Will Guillory, who writes for The Athletic. He put out an article, and it's like the article never happened because no one really. Because now we live in more of a visual era, but it's like the article never happened when he was talking about him, working out during the off season, talking about like his day to day and his nutrition work and what has changed. But it's like, bro, if you don't, that year he played, what was it, last year he played, 20-some games, 30-some games? If you don't, to Rashad's point, if you don't stay on the court, I don't really care what you do. Like for me, I don't care what you do in the offseason if it's not translating to the court. You know what I'm saying? And I think to your point with LeBron, it don't matter LeBron working with the Clippers stuff now and not the Lakers. LeBron show up on the court. And with Zion, until you show up on that court consistently, the narrative will never change because you're an easy target.
So I want to great points by everybody here. I want to kind of get Rashad out of here at some point, because listen, man, we be up here hour and a half, 2 hours. Like, this is just, what we do. So we don't want to hold you up too much longer here, bro. But I do want to end up in here in closing. Your most recent article was about an artist suing the Pelicans after he says the team stole from his artwork and social media posts. Allegedly. Now, I'm curious what the route that you got in regards to the information that you received, or how it went behind the scenes for you to ultimately end up writing that article. Is this something that happens more than maybe the public knows? And if you want to kind of shout out the article and give us a little bit more details about it, or your thoughts in its totality, we definitely want to hear them.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. I forgot about that article until you mentioned it. I was like, oh yeah, I did. But I think the main thing, it was like I just seen it on the internet, and then like once again I sent it to my sports editor. Yo, should we go with this? He said, yeah, reach out to the law firm. I reached out to the law firm. They gave me the full document. They said we don't have any comment on it, and then I just kind of ciphered through it. It is something. How do you say this? I think celebrities, they get sued a lot. We're just talking about Zion, but celebrities get sued a lot. So it is kind of something that is relatively common. However, I do think it's interesting that this happened. I don't know how the Pels thought they were going to get away with this. I don't know if they thought because it was just like the Instagram account, it would have flew under the radar or whatever. They might still be able to get away with it in court if they're just like, you don't own the idea of, did you create flattened basketballs? Like, you didn't create flat. So I don't know if, how the actual case is going to go. But for them to kind of try to run with this, and even after Buddy sent a cease and desist last year, and he was like, hey, stop that. And they was just like, anyways, make sure you follow the Pelicans on Instagram. Like, that was kind of wild to me. I thought they were bucking him. But I don't know, man. I don't know their thought process, because it's like Buddy was working with the NBA. So it's like, who he is, where this came from. Why not just give Buddy his credit, slide him a little couple $1,000s or whatever, just like Dan Gilbert did, just like the Detroit Pistons owner did, all those things. So I don't know.
Shout out to Tyrell, man. Justice for that's for Tyrell. I happen to reach out to OTW. And OTW, man, and allegedly, from what the streets are saying, is all alleged. I have no evidence of this. This is a pattern. This is somewhat of a pattern with the organization, allegedly. And I myself have been a quote unquote victim of said pattern.
I need to say this right now. While I'm on Pro Pels Talk. That's why it was so important for me to tag y'all, to let y'all, to shout y'all out by name, to shout out the pod, because so many people on large media platforms, if you got this type of reach, look, Justin posts every day, all day. You can act like you don't see it. You can act, we all got the same For You page in this state, in this city. Right. Y'all can act like y'all don't see it, grab it, and then the Pelicans said this. Boy, you was not watching that summer league game in the third quarter of the interview. What Queen said you saw that from Justin Page when he posted it.
Talk to him.
To give people their credit when they put in the work and the hours for it, because this happened, like you say, same thing to me. So it's like, now me in this side, man, yes, I'm going to shout out folks. Yeah, I'm going to shout out Boot Crew. Yeah, I'm going to shout out other folks. Like, why am I not shouting them out? Man, you don't shout them out. That's man, look, these folks working hard. These folks, this independent media, bro. They don't have no, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we shouted out the folks that just had the, commercial before I came on and stuff like that. But they don't have no millions of dollars behind them. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, why am I not shouting out folks that's putting in the work? Folks that's listening to ours. I ain't listening to no Bill Simmons podcast in August. I ain't listening to Bill Simmons podcast in April. I seen that from Preston. So it's like, so it's important that you shout out the folks that's putting in the work, bro. Because it's like, if not, you just stealing. And I don't steal because I don't want nobody to steal from me.
Quick question. I just need to know. Shy, you from Atlanta? Atlanta. What part of Atlanta you from? Also, Gucci or Jeezy? Who you picking? I just need to know those two things.
I grew up in a split household. So on my mom's side, I was in the suburbs on the north side in Cobb County, Marietta. And then on my dad's side, I was in the city, the SWATs, Southwest Atlanta, off of Cascade Road.
Yeah.
So, all right, Gucci or Jeezy?
Yeah.
I feel like for respect's sake, I gotta go Gucci. Like Gucci birthed a whole generation of rappers. Jeezy might have made better music, but Gucci likes influence goes beyond, you know what I'm saying, music.
I appreciate that. Now
these are the kind of things. Shout out to Five for the question. Justin don't know what's going on right now, but that's okay.
Go.
That's okay, man. Just
like Shy, like I know more about Shy in that one answer than I would have known any other basketball question.
Hey,
That
man,
let me know.
that's
We're good.
That's love, man. So Rashad, man, we'll get you out of here, man. Let everybody know where they can follow you at, man. Appreciate all the love and the support. And same goes your way, but let everyone know where they can follow you at and what you got cooking up next.
Yeah, man. Just make sure y'all visit NOLA.com, read our stuff. You know, we don't have a Pels beat writer still yet. That's crazy. But hopefully me calling them out publicly is going to put the pressure on them to hire somebody before next season. Rod Walker's been holding it down in the meantime. I've been stepping up where I can as well. So y'all make sure y'all support us, read our stuff. Excuse me, everything like that. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can. I don't really tweet much, but I do tweet like during the season, kind of live tweeting when I'm at the game. So if you want to, you can. If you don't, that's cool. I don't care. Just read NOLA.com so I can keep it up.
Sure.
I appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you putting up, man. Great work.
Thank
All
you.
right, man. That was Rashad Milligan, man. Like good dude, solid dude, man. Showed the pile love, man. Brought great energy. Good to put a voice, to some written words. So, we got about 7 more likes, so we get to 100, 175 people in here. Look, that was fun, man. I want to go back a week because I missed last Sunday's show. We're gonna revisit some of the things that was talked about in Rashad Milligan's article. But I gotta figure some shit out here. Lito ain't here. He's on an airplane right now. Hopefully he's gonna make it here safe and in time. He's supposed to be on the show, but his flight got delayed. Shout out to Lito. This happened last Sunday, and we're gonna break it down here.
Their time, I think their timeline has to be totally different. They have to think.
Now, before anyone asks what happened, shout out to Cole. And I don't think he was the only one, but I believe it was Cole that heard that live. We got a bunch of professionals here that just kept moving. You know what I mean? But it was Justin and it was Cole that heard that, and our brother almost died on camera for the sake of Propel's talk. That's loyalty. Here's him explaining it later on.
I was about to say, I'm trying not to sneeze, dog.
What you just did was
I was trying not to die. Y'all was talking. I was trying to hold my.
sorry, because y'all were making good points.
I don't know what happened, but
Yeah,
there's
a lot.
Because I didn't hear anything. That's why I was like,
Bro, he was slurping.
Say, bro, I had my sneeze so long, bro. I started sweating. Fucking sweating, bro.
You got a fucking aneurysm. Yeah, you got to sneeze.
Like, bro, y'all was making a good point. I ain't want to interrupt. I couldn't move the mic and I couldn't get up. I was about to die over here for the fucking pod.
Sorry, it's just you had the show.
Look, man, I believe in sacrifice in good majority, pretty much all relationships. I think compromises, are things that you need to have really good relationships. You got to hold some things in sometimes. Certain things you can't always say. Certain things you can't always let out. But brother, if you got to sneeze, just walk away and mute the mic. My dog almost died. because he wanted to let Chaz, Grub, and Five talk. Ross looked so y'all couldn't see how concerned Ross looked. Ross eventually left. Ross got up his seat and was gone because he couldn't contain himself. Chaz, Five, Justin, y'all were there. Do y'all have any words of wisdom for a Sneezegate video? Any reactions a week later?
I have no comment on this topic.
I couldn't. Speechless, actually. Yeah, it was actually it was funny. Like during when it happened, I thought I had heard something, right? And then Co goes, "Did I hear someone slurp?" And I was like, you know what? It was. And then watching it back, Chris. What's crazy, Chris, is you didn't even watch the show, but I texted you something crazy had happened on the show, and you instantly found it within 5 minutes and sent it. And it was the slurp. It was a slurp. How else would you describe that, Jared? It was crazy. How does it get to that point when you're trying to sneeze? How does it get to that?
Hey, you know what's wild, dog? I'll be honest. I did not hear it. It didn't even register. But the fact that you keep calling it the slurp.
The slurp. I didn't do it. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just going off the film.
Man. Shout out to Lito, man. Get back to the crib safe, man.
Oh my goodness.
So we will end with the final segment here about some. I know this will make Justin proud. We got some Trey Murphy offseason video, some work. He's actually moving with a basketball.
No slurp involved, right?
None of that.
Are you excited? Are you excited to see the video?
Yes, I haven't.
Is it something that everyone, is like, oh, wow, this is a positive thing going into the season?
I haven't seen it yet. Cornrow Trey now. This is a whole different. I don't think people are ready for that. I haven't seen him with braids yet. You know what I mean? I know he had the fro in the beginning of the year. We don't know what kind of time Trey Murphy's on, but he looks healthy, looks happy.
Shout out to Sideshow Brady for that, man. Appreciate you, Sideshow.
Absolutely. Sideshow Brady, man. Follow him on X. I believe he's on Instagram as well, man. Keeping up with a lot of the offseason work and everything Pelicans related. We will play this video and then we will talk about Trey Murphy a little bit and overall thoughts.
Yeah. Can't try. I reminded him to the little something. Smoke a little something. A biscuit. Never. Never been. Yeah. Real nigga, what's up? My first love was football from playing that Madden shit. My second love was hard drugs, weed, and this rapping shit. How did I lie on the nights that I wasn't having shit? I say my prayers, but I'm rusty as fuck with Arabic. Lord, take me as I am, cause I'm gon' come as I'm is. I might die twice if I look down and see my mama in tears. I gave her, but I ain't gon' never die. Bitch, I can never, what's up? I know the Lord watch over babies and fools. I did the foolie with this tool to put my babies through school. I took my last soul out the country, fuck that bitch, we ain't cool. Hit them DMs, a nigga can't swim, but I fucked a friend by the pool. But she was too a pussy, I never needed that bitch. She cussed me out in long ass text, but I ain't read them shit. She wanted the fuck, but you can never have. Bitch, you can never. James Harden, I had to take a step back for bitches and certain niggas. Sometimes it sucks to get the success, then you start hurting feelings. Used to have a hard time, now.
Lala, I feel the same way. That was the only thing I was thinking this whole time.
What?
I was like, boy, this is not work no motherfucking copyright. It's a cool shot. Cool. Like I'm having Trey healthy and moving around, but look, man. I just hope the brother can start the season. Shout out to him. I know he put in the work every off season. I just don't be caring about none of that shit no more, dog. It ain't like he was in a wheelchair and now he walking. I just saw him working out the other day. I don't care. I saw Therese Halliburton at SummerSlam on crutches. Like, now if he got there, he putting out some film. I'm like, damn, Therese a bad motherfucker. But with this, it's like I expect this from Trey. I already know who Trey is as a player. My thing is, can he start the season? Because one of the things that was fucked up was every time he's putting in so much work in the offseason, he gets a setback at the start of the season, and he kind of got to start from, below where he had worked himself up to. So I hope that, he can hit his stride and start the season, because he don't really have I think he should be penciled in as a starter this season. I don't know if that's going to be, I don't know if that's going to be debatable this season. I'm not sure, but I just saw James Harden 400 pounds right now. Anybody think James Harden not cold? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like,
looking like Mark Henry right now.
Shout out to Eve Meese, working with the Guard Whisperer, putting in the work. And shout out his YouTube channel, because he documenting his his progression. Shout out to him. But it's like, I mean, is it really going to change anyone's perspective moving forward? It's like, nah.
I think Chaz, I'm not disagreeing with you this. I think coming off of an injury, it's got a little more to it than what Zion put out, because I guess we haven't really heard much of Trey or Herb in like a timeline, right? Like, I'm not saying that Trey is fully healthy, but if he's, it looks like full range of motion, shot looks fine, like all that stuff. Like, I could see it being like a little bit of a positive impact. I would wonder though, is he scheduled to be ready opening day? Mm-hmm. And we haven't heard anything. Have y'all heard anything about that?
Last I heard, he was way ahead of schedule.
Way ahead, because I feel
like we did like some months ago. I heard this.
Well, I feel like we did a podcast maybe a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, where we were like, we don't even know if Trey's gonna be ready till November, December, like stuff like that. Like, it seems that if he's ready for opening night, I think it's a huge. I mean, obviously, it's a huge positive for the team moving forward.
They haven't had Trey to start the season, and I think 3
last
seasons.
2 years. Last 2 years,
back-to-back seasons, and this will be the first season of him as a starter.
And it takes him a while. I mean, it takes him obviously some time to get into a rhythm, right? So you see him struggling from 3-point land, then obviously he gets to 36-37% because he's one of the best shooters in the league. But he usually needs some time to build up. It will be nice to see if he's ready to go day one, how he can carry this offseason, working back from a shoulder surgery, and then going into the season with some momentum at least.
Follw, you mentioned I think a little bit over a week ago when we talked in depth about Trey and where he could rank as a player and going into this season. But if we're talking about winning basketball games, do you think? I mean, and again, Zion, this is Zion pending. But do you think you can beat good teams, be a team that's jockeying for playoff position in the West, with Trey Murphy being your second overall best player?
Can I win with Trey being my second overall best player in the West? Say all things are everybody healthy. If you want me to grade it, let's say out of 10, I can win with Trey being my second best player 7 out of 10 times. I believe it's that high. I think he's that good. I think he's that talented. Now, the thing that, again, let's say like coaching is the true thing that I really take a step back. I'm like, that dilutes Trey's ability pretty well when you think about it. Like if Willie Green's your coach, you're like, I probably got to take a step back. Like it's probably like 4 out of 10. Like he's that detrimental to the team, that detrimental to Trey's ability, because although I think Trey has developed a game off the dribble within, the last like 3 to 4 seasons or 3 seasons, and you can see it increasing even in this video. Shout out to Freddie Gibbs. Like, you just did not need to diss Spitter in this album. Like you didn't need to do it. That was just the wrong move. Really great album, but you took all of the goodwill out of it. But anyway, Trey's ability has grown exponentially, but Willie Green being his coach dilutes all his, progression. So I think you can win with Trey being your second best player, with Zion being healthy and Zion being Zion. But also I do want to caution it because Willie is his coach, and that truly doesn't help him. Unlike every other coach, let's say 60 or 70% of the other coaches and players that are around the league.
I'm sorry, Justin and Chaz, I'm curious in you guys' thoughts as well about this. Do you guys think Trey, let's say for right now, let's say he's a little bit better than the person that we saw at his best last year. Or I mean, same. However, Chaz, you got the Trey Murphy shirt on right now. Do you think as a second option you can be competitive in the Western Conference? And I'm not talking about the end of playing. I'm talking about really being a problem, a force, night in and night out.
Alex first, yeah, absolutely do. Even if he's the same, Chris, like you pointed out, I think now he will have a bit more runway. And considering how some of the other guys play, I don't think you'll see a catch and shoot guy as much. I think you'll see a guy that's going to be doing a bit more creating for himself, working on his intermediate game. He was getting to the rim. He was distributing the ball. I think Trey is another guy who has the opportunity, in some nights to be the highest scorer on the floor. You saw him put forward several 40-point games in his career. The way he scores, he's not going to take it's not going to take as much of a physical toll. His injuries has been freak injuries, throughout his career. Last year, he's diving on the floor for loose ball. I think he gets hurt in the first quarter. Then you got the hamstring injury in training camp. So I think the trajectory he's on right now tells me that at this year, I anticipate him being a fringe all-star at worst, especially if he's healthy. I think him and Zion have an excellent two-man game. The reason why I consider him to be one of the upper echelon second options is because, again, to me, if Zion is healthy and Trey are both healthy throughout the season, I think you have an excellent opportunity to be a top 8 seed at minimum, top 10. And then you got the other guys. You got the Jordan Pools. You got the other guys that kind of will help maximize what the Treys do well. I say he's not a catch and shoot guy, but he will, in my opinion, have more open opportunities this year with Jordan Poole's ability to get to the rim, with Zion's, of course, all his ability to get to the rim. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with the front court just yet. But you got even Jeremiah Fears. If he happens to share the court with Jeremiah Fears, his ability to get downhill, get to the rim, distribute the basketball, I think you'll see a lot of positive outcomes from Trey Murphy this year, especially if he's able to hit the ground running going into this season.
Completely agree with Chaz, because would y'all say, like, I'm just going off number 2, like Jalen Williams, he's the number 2 option for OKC, right? Would y'all say that, like, he's number 2 option for OKC?
Yeah, number 2 scoring option. Yeah,
Trey Murphy has basically the exact same stats as Jalen. The problem is that SGA played at an MVP clip for 70 plus games. It depends on if Zion, yes, Trey Murphy's a hell of a second option, but can Zion Williamson be the first option as he's supposed to be? That's the biggest thing. Is I completely agree with Chaz. If Trey and Zion play 70 games this year, the top 8.
Top 8?
Mm-hmm.
That's it?
I think that's pretty good. I'm not going to go out here and say they're top 6. The West is loaded. It depends on, this team being healthy, and obviously this team
70 games.
If those two play 70, they'll be top 8 easy.
I say it for you. They're top 6. If
they play 70 games, look, I don't think you're wrong, because as we've seen it in the past, 1 or 2 games separates the 8th from the 5th seed. So it's not that far off, right? And so to what Chaz is saying is Trey Murphy's a great, people are he's a third option. No, he's a bona fide second option. Is the number 1 option available? That's what it boils down to.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's no different than last year or a couple years ago when we were talking about, the second unit playing out of, position in a sense, right? If the top guys are there, then you get to see the full extent of the second unit. You get to see the full extent of Trey Murphy when Zion's healthy. You get to see the things that he's really good at when Zion is being Zion. I even said this I think Trey can survive without Zion. But do we get to see the best version of Trey Murphy without Zion? Hell no. We need Zion to be really fucking good to see Trey Murphy really good.
Because look, the best versions of Zion, and to me, it was 2 years ago, the end of that road trip stretch, right before
West
Brandon
Coast
Ingram
trip.
comes back. Yeah, Trey was there. The MVP run before the initial hamstring injury, who was there? Trey was there. So I don't think that those things are a coincidence. That Zion, if Zion's gonna listen, Zion has generational type talent, but we're talking about we've seen them win games and beat good teams. When Zion is out there, as long as he has Trey there, he's always looked for him, he's always found him. And a lot of the other supporting talent could be average to above average. They make it work. Those two and Herb to a degree, you put those three together, there's a different level of synergy with those three together that I think you need. And we'll see who else is important, is a part of this. Jordan Poole, maybe sliding into a CJ McCollum type role for this team, or maybe something a little bit better, maybe something a little bit more unique. It's gonna be interesting to watch. Chaz, did you have something before we move to the super chats and star questions?
Oh no, I did. I totally agree with you. I didn't have anything to add.
All right, cool. All right, y'all. 100 and almost 70 people in here, 72 now. I think we are at what are likes at here? Where they at there? 100 and I think it was like 7 or something like that. However many it is, it's not enough. But shout out to y'all, man, and everybody here. Let's start here. Justin, this question is for you. Would you like to read it?
$5 super chat. Hey Justin, big fan of Trey and Zion are all stars this season. What is our seeing? Also, can I get a shout out? Thanks. Appreciate you.
Who is that?
GB. Is that right? Gliz Bigums. I mean, super chat. That's the rule, right? Trey and Zion are all stars this season. What is our seeding? If they are all stars.
Mm.
If they're all stars, both of them, they're a 4 seed. If they are both all stars. I'm talking about a loaded Western Conference. If they are both all stars, that means they are having epic career years. Yes, they're a top 4 team. Shout out to you, Gliz.
Shout out to five being a father of the year. Gives my favorite rapper the last 5 years. He's a clown. That is Ezekiel. Shout out to you, man, for the $2. Again, Lito look a little different. Okay. Thomas always supporting. Shout out to Buka and Popro's talk. Shout out to you. Thomas again. $4.99. 5. Y'all think him playing in the playoffs hurt him more? Wait, what? Hurt him more than never?
Y'all think him never playing in the playoffs hurt? I think he means from a PR standpoint. Y'all think him never playing in the playoffs hurt him more than him never being available?
All right, Jack, you want to ask? Go ahead, Jack. Say yes or no? All right. Yeah, I think it does. I think that plays a part in it. It definitely doesn't help, right? Like it definitely hurts him in the grand scheme of things. Like, oh, you don't even get your team to the playoffs. Although they may not be great, you don't even help them get to the playoffs. And when they did get to the playoffs, you weren't even there. So that goes against Zion's, quote unquote greatness or his, level of impact of winning. It doesn't tell the full story. So yeah, now I'm with you, Thomas. I do think it goes against Zion's, aura, if you will.
This one's from Trey. They gonna find Derrick Rose before Cole get a membership. Listen, I don't disagree with you, bro. It's been a long time. I don't know what we got to do. We tried everything possible. We might have to actually start a GoFundMe. I don't really think that there's any other way to really make it happen.
I got a theory about this for sure.
You go ahead. Yeah.
I think he purposely had everybody get out of jail just so it's more people to find, right? Like he had an actual plan. Like, oh, when I get out of here, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and they're never gonna find me. And then there's so many people to try to find. Oh, they're gonna go out and be on bourbon and get found, which dilutes the possibility of people. Dilutes the possibility of people trying to find me. I think he's a mastermind.
It took me a little bit to realize you were talking about Derrick Rose and not Cole. Yeah. And I'm like, Cole went to jail? No wonder he didn't get my dog watching the comment from the cell. Man, look, now that's dedication right there, man. Shout out to Cole, man. Charles Pierre, Justin, I'm curious. Why is it okay for Trey to get game time to get ready, but not Zion? I've heard you say Zion needs to come in ready for game 1.
Thank you, Sam.
I don't necessarily like. Could we clear this question up? I don't. I guess I'm not following. Like, I think it's important for both of them to be ready for game one, if that makes sense. I guess are you asking why? I'm curious. Why is it okay for Trey to get game time, get ready, but not Zion? I don't know. I just like to see Zion, see what he's doing in the offseason. That's all I really want to see. Like, if Joe's saying he's impressed and so on and so forth, wouldn't you want to show that off? Like, that's just my thinking. But I know it's not going to equal wins.
Shout out to Sam with the 5 Book Crew Media memberships. Yo, man, if you guys are not a member, please, man, become a member. You know what I mean? If you're not already subscribed to the show, subscribe to the show and hit the like button. That's all we need. We don't really ask for much else. Chaz from Shackzilla, where you get your hats from, bro?
Man, a lot of these hats are like old, like years old, bro. So I got like an ottoman full of hats. And for every hat I wear, I probably got about 6 I never wore before. Like I got a lot of these hats, bro. So I wish I can give you a solid answer. Some of these stores don't even exist no more. It used to have a New Era on Canal Street. I got some fire hats from, and they don't even exist no more. So I wish I could give you a straight answer, Shackzilla, brother.
All right, man. Another one, man. Another membership, man. Y'all, man, keep the memberships in rotation, man. What else we got here? I like this one here, but I lost it. This one, Flight. I thought Flight Mizar been in tune here. Been a big supporter of the show since day one. What player have we properly developed? What player have we successfully gotten the most out of? Lonzo?
Well, see, it's such a good question because one could say Brandon, but it depends on, do you consider their Lakers tenures as development stages? Because I think the only thing they really did for Lonzo is worked on his shot, because Lonzo was already a solid defender. Ball handling never really improved, and he'd been out the league for about 2-3 years until recently. So it's like, shit, did you really help him? With Brandon, Brandon's kind of the same guy, more or less. His scoring ability improved, but his passing was always kind of there. In this tenure, you probably could say you got the most out of a Jose. Maybe because these are upperclassmen, so I don't know how much you really develop these guys, but you can probably say you got the most out of a Jose. You absolutely got the most you was gonna get out of Jackson Hayes. Ain't nothing left.
Say Najee.
Nah, not really, because I don't know. Najee was upperclassman. Then Najee went to Dallas, and it appears like it could be he got more opportunities, but it appears like he's taking another step. So I don't really know if they've developed anyone in this.
I think a lot of people would say Trey.
See, what do y'all? See, I'm curious, and even Justin as a coach,
yeah.
What do you consider development? What is development?
I think it's maximizing that player's game. Not necessarily. I don't really attribute to ball handling skills. Like that's always going to be on the player. If a player wants to get better with his handles, like that's going to be up to him to work on that. Like I think it's really maximizing that player, right? I think they've maximized Jose Alvarado. Now they tried to do it with Brandon, and I thought they were on the right path, and all of a sudden he just went the complete polar opposite way. With Zion, do y'all think they've developed Zion?
I think
whose fault do you that? That's where I'm at. With Zion, whose fault is that?
You know what? I was watching some film the other day, right? And I thought
Zion?
about this. Yeah, and I think it pertains to Trey Murphy as well. Because to me, Trey Murphy should have been a fringe all-star already. I think they did him a total disservice.
Oh, I agree. They have not maximized Trey Murphy. So to answer that question, I don't think they've done a good job developing Trey.
I think with some guys, let's say Zion in particular, if it's just HB dive, right? If it's just halfback dive every play. And I do think Zion does again, I think a lot of these are narratives, bro. And I do think Zion does a lot of stuff, more stuff than we kind of might want to give him credit. Because you watch a lot of film, you see some things. Go back and watch that Golden State game where he kind of put he had Draymond in hell. But then the next game, Draymond adjusted. Draymond had him in hell. But I think, to me, with the Zion development thing, it's starting to get to a point where you look at Jim Brown and saying, well, why Jim Brown don't catch passes out of the backfield? Or why Jim Brown can't run routes? And it's like, the dude is like, bro, let's just be real for a second. It's like, why Marshall Faulk can't throw the football? It's like, it gets to a point where it's like, bro, the dude barely plays, and he's still at the top of so many of these criterias, just doing this one thing, right? If you believe he does one thing, he just does this one thing, and he's still way up here. Him expanding his game, yeah, it would be nice, you know what I'm saying? If you know, but at the same time, it's like, let's say he's taking 30 mid-range jumpers in his career. He's still at the top of all these things without any of these other additional skill sets. Now, would he surpass that with some of those? Who knows, right? Because I either want you taking threes or getting to the rim. If he ain't just okay at the rim, he's historically abnormally good at getting to the rim. So to me, it is. I don't know, bro. It just gets to. Again, that's the only reference I can really think. Like, boy, it'd be great if Tom Brady could scrabble. It'd be great if, you know, it just gets to a point where it's just like, yo, this dude is great at what he does.
Yeah,
he just needs to stay on the court.
Like, yeah. It's like, this is JB. Like, I've seen a lot of people say, like, we've asked this question multiple times. Like, the Pelicans did not develop Dyson at all. Like, at all. He obviously turned out to be, you know, an all defense. I mean, we all knew how gifted he was defensively, but like, Chaz had told us, like, go look at his stats offensively. Like,
He's the same exact player. He's always
the same exact player. He just got more minutes. Like, it really is. It really goes down to that. Like, I don't know. It's a tough question because I was actually interested in like Jarrett's thoughts. Like, what do you consider development?
Like adding to someone's game or seeing what they do well and increasing that.
So more of the system, would you say that?
I would say there's a part in it. I don't want to say that's like the whole holistic like view of it, right? Like yeah, we're not creating a system. And I always thought it was weird. I think the Pelicans do it like backwards than most other, you know, teams. They don't even develop the guys they put a lot of money in. They'll try to develop guys that are like two-way guys or
like the Mises of the world.
Yeah, the Mises. Like, why are you spending so much time trying to develop? Like, they have to be better on their own to make it in the league. Like, you've already invested the money into Zion, Trey, you know, or even Herb now. So your goal should be, yo, let me invest. I've already invested the money. Now I need to invest the time, the effort, the energy to increase their ability to be better. Not fucking Misi. No offense. Hey, if you're watching the shows, no offense.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, you're not getting paid. Like, why would I do that? Like, it's their job to get better on their own. And then when they get paid, like, oh, okay, well, let me help you get better.
And Jared, you brought up an interesting point about Herb, because we've all talked about how like they don't use Herb to his full maximum capabilities. Like, he can be a point guard. You can play through him in the middle of the floor. Like, he's so, instead of just staying, like, they just put him in the corner, like, all right, bro, like, you can be in the corner and you can slot cut. That's all you can do. It's like Herb can do a lot more things. Like, he can pass. Like, I just wish they would expand Herb's role a little more. I'm not saying he needs to be a better scorer, but I'm just saying he's a smart player. When you play through him, like, you can gain, like, you gain advantages with Herb Jones at the middle of the floor, not at the corner.
Man,
yeah.
My bad, Chris.
I struggle with this because on one side it's like everybody I'm thinking about, even like in Hornets history, that I think got better once they got to New Orleans. Like, yeah, like Tyson Chandler became a total different player, right? But you know, this is a dude that came out of high school, and by the time he got to New Orleans, I'm not even sure how
he was.
Well, yeah, but by that time, I don't even know if he was 21 yet still. So he was still so young, and it helps that you're playing with what became one of the greatest point guards of all time. Same with David West. So how much do I give the player? how much do I give who like the greatness that they're playing with, and how much do I give the organization? That's what I struggle with when it comes to development. Like, did the Pelicans develop Drew Holiday? You know, like, yeah, Drew Holiday was an all-star when he was in Philly, but the best version of him in regards as an individual happened in New Orleans. Is that development, or that just time? Is that just situation in that player? Like, I don't know. Like, when AD got drafted, I thought after his first year, I thought we were looking at somebody who would average a double-double pretty much his entire career and be a defensive player of the year candidate consistently. I didn't see the offensive ceiling. I didn't see a dude that was going to average 20 plus points a game. That wasn't something that I saw necessarily. I didn't see.
He grew up playing point guard.
Did you know that?
Yeah,
I never. Chaz, that's the first time I ever heard that.
It's crazy. That's breaking news.
Yeah. That's the first time I ever heard that. Yeah, I mean, so the development, that always confuses me a little bit because, all right, if I see a play, all right, Najee, Chaz, you brought it up last time how the show before Najee was shooting much better in the corner, from three. I mean, I'm going to attribute him putting in a lot of work to that. I'm gonna attribute him knowing this is my year to get paid in this league. I gotta be a much better shooter in that area. You know what I mean? How much is that the staff? How much is that the development team? How much is that is him?
I think I give Kevin Hansen, who's working with Anthony Davis a lot. Like the first time I saw Anthony Davis taking a lot.
The coach for the Timberwolves now, I think he's under.
Yeah, I think Kevin Hansen is with the Timberwolves now. But he was working with Anthony Davis a lot, and I think where you get drafted plays a huge factor in how you develop. But also, I think guys who are role players, they just don't get better until they they don't get in a groove until they figure out their role. And a lot of that is a personal acceptance of said role. Like we talk about, it's like, you are a 3-and-D guy now. You not all that Sidney Dean flashy yo shit. No. Just go over there. You got you know what I'm saying? You got the Angel Reese sleeve. That's just not who you are, dog. You're a 3-and-D guy, bro. And that's how he got paid. Look, I mean, we did the draft show. I talked to Chris. Chris was like, what you think Dyson gonna average? I said, for his career, I think he'll never average more than 15 points. I said that. And I was like, I just don't see it. Now, he could be a defensive player. He could do all these things. But if he ever happens to like average more than 15 points, it's going to be because he found like a niche as a 3-and-D role player, Josh Giddey type guy. And some of these dudes, they come into the league, Jackson Hayes, he might have thought he was something he wasn't. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Clearly.
Dudes get on these teams and they're like, fuck, I don't even know. I'm Bohan Bogdanovich. Like, I can do all kinds of things, but it's like, no, you aren't. You need to stand right here and just catch the ball.
I thought I had Jim Brown being the first like thought in terms to like
my first thought was OJ Simpson, but I didn't want to go there.
Okay, well, I mean, you could have.
Hey, OJ Simpson's a bad motherfucker. Second greatest running back all time in my mind. But go ahead.
Yeah, Sidney Dean. We gonna find
Marshall
out.
Falk. Marshall Falk.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out directly how old Chaz is, because whatever's on his birth certificate, we talk about how old certain
Joe
people
Lewis.
are. Joe Lewis randomly. However old he actually is, somebody lying. I'm gonna end the show here with my own. This is my own super chat here. I didn't pull it up, but is Trey Murphy a better player today than Brandon Ingram?
Yes. Today, right now,
now.
Yes.
5.
Is he a better player?
Right now.
More valued for sure.
Who affects winning more?
That's two different questions.
Yep.
I'm trying to win a basketball game. Oh, I guess better player winning.
And,
I mean, I'm trying to win a basketball game. I would then take the better player.
Yeah.
No, you would assume that that's the better player, but that does not necessarily equate to winning, right? You just
I'd say
you paid Jordan Poole all this money. Is he a winning player?
Well, I didn't pay Jordan Poole that money.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I just traded.
I mean, okay, all right. You traded for a guy that paid who's making all this money, right?
Really, voice of reason.
Really?
Gotta expand your horizons, bro. Go ahead.
I think
This is what I'm talking.
Trey is a better basketball player at this current time. Yes.
What makes him a better basketball player?
One is healthier, but
Okay.
his ability to play with other good players. What Brandon did during like the USA joint, like it was appalling. Like he couldn't survive on the court with other good basketball players. Like that's the startling thing about Brandon. Like you couldn't put him on the court with other good basketball players and him be effective. Like
So, Five, you think he's better. Justin, you think Trey's better, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Chaz, what about you?
I think Brandon's individually more skilled. I think Trey's brand of basketball contributes more in the regular season.
Okay.
So you think Brandon would be a better? You think Brandon is a better postseason player than Trey would be?
I think if you need a difficult shot made, Brandon's probably the more. And again, people gotta, I don't dislike Brandon whatsoever, right? I'm not a fan of his game, but I think Brandon is a very skilled player.
100%.
Brandon is very skilled,
100%.
and I think Trey's game, some of his game, what makes him more enticing as a player is he's way more athletic than Brandon. So some things that Trey can do, Brandon will just never be able to do. Like his first step, like Brandon can rebound, but Trey's going to be more explosive rebounder, finishing above the rim, things like that. But I think at this stage in his career, I think Brandon's more individually skilled, dribbling, passing, difficult shots, not great shots, dumb shots, but difficult shot making. And so I give Brandon his respect.
If you give me Brandon from Phoenix series, like I'm taking that Brandon Ingram. But
so Brandon's a more refined player, right?
Okay.
I think Brandon just has a harder time being impactful in games, like during the regular season. Like Brandon gonna have to work really hard to get 40 points.
Yes, and not very efficient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think? How about this, Chaz? Do you think because I have a follow-up question?
Mhm.
Do you think they're in the same tier?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think Jordan Poole is a better player than CJ McCollum?
Individually, yes.
Five.
I'm not ready to say that yet.
Justin.
Man, that's a good question. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't watched as much Jordan Poole film as I have seen CJ, but today, probably Jordan Poole.
I would go a step further. And CJ, my dog, I fucks with CJ. I think Jordan Poole's ceiling is about a tier or so higher than CJ. And CJ, even in the postseason, CJ a bad motherfucker,
Bad.
like historically. Now, because we talking about age-wise, CJ at 26 and Jordan Poole at 26,
Yep.
it's probably much more of a discussion. But the thing is, when Kevin Durant told CJ McCollum, look, don't worry about what's happening at the top of the league. Just stay where y'all worry about, don't go chasing waterfalls. And it kind of proved to be right to where it's like CJ, your destiny, like he says to CJ, your destiny is to be a six man. And with Jordan Poole, it's like, now hold on, wait a minute.
I watched him film this weekend. I didn't realize he had.
Oh, Jordan Poole is an incredible player, but he also was like, now I got to see you do it where you don't have, your proximity to greatness isn't like so evident with Steph and even Clay, who was hating on Jordan Poole and Draymond, and I got to see you do it the way it's like, not sink or swim.
Well, shit. I mean, you saw him doing an NBA Finals series, right? But can you do it for the Pelicans?
Yes.
But look, I am actually. I know we're an hour 45 in. I'm really intrigued to see Jordan Poole, Trey Murphy, and Zion Williamson.
Hold on, dog.
That's a good. That's a.
Y'all
It's a
sound
good
like
3.
y'all sound like
It's
y'all
not
think they
that,
could
it's,
win.
bro. It's not that. It's you don't have a center. You don't have a backup point guard. Like,
Shout out to Eve Meese. Eve Meese is a quality
I'm not. Yeah,
big in this league.
Yes.
he is. But
Hey.
do you trust Looney for 70 games?
Off the bench, yeah.
He ain't off the bench. That's your starting center.
Five.
I mean, in a big rotation, maybe. Go ahead, Five. My bad.
I'm just
Go ahead.
saying, I watched CJ McCollum go crazy in the Western Conference Finals.
Bubble.
I watched it.
Was he
seen
having 38?
Yeah, and the star player didn't play well. Like he didn't have the barriers of Jordan Poole, and if you're missing 6 shots in a row, he didn't have a Steph, he didn't have a Clay, he didn't have a Draymond to wipe up his mess. So I can't easily say that Jordan Poole is a better player than CJ McCollum. I just can't.
Well, we're talking today. We're talking
Because the thing
today.
about the old days.
They the old days.
They're the old days.
But also the issue is I just watched last season CJ McCollum and Zion be really, really good when both were on the floor. Almost get the Pelicans to an AC without a Brandon Ingram. Without that, I just can't until Jordan Poole proves that I can be the guy and get you wins and do X, Y, and Z and be. Hey, I can't put you right there yet. You ain't did nothing here for me to say it.
I just was curious. Go ahead, Chaz.
I think Ryan make a great point, but because I know a couple people they're not as high on Jordan Poole, which I understand. But I think the thing that makes Ferraris exciting is not because they go fast, it's because they go fast and they could crash. So every time you drive a Ferrari and you make it home, it's like people who drive motorcycles. It's the rush. I went 120 miles an hour. See, when Jordan Poole shooting from fucking out of bounds and making them threes, he's the greatest player of all time. But there's fans who been watching. You're like, he's the greatest player of all time. But there's fans who've been watching Steph, who've been watching Dame, who've been watching Trey Young, and they probably say, Trey, stop shooting them stupid ass shots. Like Ross hate when Trey Murphy take them 4-point shots. He hates it, right? And I understand because when it's going in and the motherfucker made about 10 in a row, it's like, oh man, that's awesome. But when he missed them bitches, you like, that was the dumbest shot I ever seen in my life.
Can I ask something, Chaz? So we're talking about those Trey Murphy bombs, right? The 4-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
As a defender, are you going to contest that shot?
Nah.
You're not going to contest.
No, I'm playing the numbers game with that.
Jared, would you contest?
Yeah, you got to.
That's why even I know Ross old man screaming at the cloud kind of thing. I don't mind those shots because it's because it draws a defender it draws another defender even further away from the basketball rim, so you have driving lanes. So I don't give a shit.
To me, it's context. Like if it's like,
oh yeah, of course,
yeah. But if we down by 8.
Hey, let's get a good look here. Let's get a good look.
Do that.
Bro, second quarter, 6 minutes.
we running and gunning.
Fucking launch, man. I don't give a shit.
This is why Trey Murphy being the trail guy is super important, right? Just the threat of it happening is scary. Justin, I remember the clip I got. The Lakers played the Pelicans and Trey hits this 40-footer transition 3 and the crowd goes nuts. Like you saw it happen before that. Like you saw it was about to happen. Like you knew it. And that's the thing that it's all about context, right? Like I think Chaz alluded to that. It's all about context. But when it happens at that critical point in time, it's a dagger.
Because the coach calls the timeout.
Yeah, it's not just 3 points. It's probably worth 9. And that's
coach got called timeout. You're like, why are you not? Then they get pissed off at the play. You're not paying attention, and it turns. You see, it's a momentum thing.
I was like, we could probably hell this note, but again, it's the OKC game 1. Pelicans get 3 or 4 offensive boards.
Don't play it.
Do you know the clip? Please play.
I'm not gonna play it, but
you have it.
I think I deleted it.
I haven't seen the clip.
I think I deleted it, but I think so. He get the basketball. He dribbles along to the left
he
wing.
sliced through, bro.
Turn around, jumper, boing, yoing, yoing, yoing. And it's like,
What did he do, Chaz?
it's like I've seen you make like a game-winning three before, but at the same time, don't ever do that again in your life. Like, don't ever do that again.
You want to talk about context? I think it was like a 1-point game or something
Yeah,
crazy.
in fact, I think the Pelicans had the lead.
It was like, I think we had like an advantage too. It was like 3-on-2 or something.
Oh, it was
crazy.
bad, bro. Larry got the board. Then CJ missed the shot. Then
Remember when Larry missed the dunk? Larry missed the dunk in game
my
one.
God. And Brandon was like, look out. He shot that bitch. And it went. It's like all the good backboard shattered. It was bad. It was bad, dog. But it happens. It happens, you know.
Speaking of Chaz, he could have made it, and then Trey Murphy did get a look the rest of the game. So
yeah,
that was that for 10 straight minutes.
But he could have made it. So like a Ferrari, bro. Well, you know, more of a like an F-150. You know, sometimes oh, Brandon, yeah, like an F-150. You know, you gotta live with the results sometimes, dog.
Yeah, all right, man. Y'all just brought me back to a terrible time. I don't want to revisit that again. We gonna end the show. That was pretty much it, man. It's been close to 2 hours. Shout out to Rashad Milligan and Gift for joining, man. Great show. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yeah, man, that's going back to game one of Oklahoma City series where they should have won the game, where they came back, where they had control of the game, was not why I wanted to end my night here August 3rd, 2025. But that's the life of being a Pelicans fan. Hopefully everything changes. Shout out to everybody that supports us here. We will see you again Wednesday. Tap in with everybody here, dropping individual shows, man. You know, as always, y'all know where to find us. For Justin, for Chaz, for Five, myself. Holla at y'all next time.
Peace.